Recently, the Pentagon has allowed females to fight in combat situations and to be included in any MOS or Special Forces or Rangers or Navy SEALs or any combat, any MOS, any job in the military. But females have been in combat situations before the Pentagon ruled that it was okay for women to be in combat. Currently, females make a percentage of the military. In the U.S. Marine Corps, we have less than an 8%, but in the U.S. Air Force, we have almost a 20%. These numbers are only supposed to grow within the future. A combat action badge is something that women recently have been receiving. Very many, hundreds of females actually have been receiving this. And it's a badge that says a valor. You did your job as a soldier, you did it correctly, and you acted brave in a combat situation. So it's a very nice badge to have. And it's a badge that many females have recently received. An early history of females in combat situations, because females have been in combat situations since the Civil War. We have Dr. Mary Walker, who was a doctor in the Army. She's the first recorded female to be in the Army, and she served in combat situations in the front lines taking care of ill. Molly the Pitcher was also in the front lines, taking water to the soldiers. When her husband died, she took up the cannon and started shooting back. Many nurses, World War II was a big time for females, for a female movement in the military. There are many nurses that were in World War II, and there were firefighters that were women too. But these nurses, although they were just nurses, they went through starvation, foxholes. They dug foxholes. They were hostages. They lived in the forest. They didn't even have bedding. They had to live on leaves. They slept on leaves. They gave up their bed for the ill. They were low on supplies. Their starvation, they rationed half a cup of rice. And during Christmas, somebody sent a female nurse a sun hat for Christmas instead of food because the American audience didn't know about this. A lot of these women still joined because there was an economic hardship back home during the Great Depression. Contrasting to other wars, the current war in Iraq and Afghanistan is a peacekeeping task. We want to gain information and we want to keep peace. So in order to keep peace, we should respect their culture. Their culture is that females cannot speak to females. We do need to gain information from females. So the Army and the Navy, the Army and the Marines recognized this, and they made the Lioness team, which is for the Marines, and the Female Engagement team, which is for the Army. And these two groups, they search women, they speak to them, and women can have IUDs too, so it's definitely important to search them. And they also introduce health information to these people. They give them school supplies or food, any type of needs they need to help them. Lala was in the Female Engagement team. She's told me many stories of her tour in Iraq. She was during the phase 1, so she did suffer through starvation. She suffered a lot of IUDs. She is disabled because of the Iraqi war, and she was in the front combat situations almost daily. She has a lot of stories to tell, but one of them is she was for the Ministry of Oil. They had a meeting, and she was the guard for her lieutenant, who was in the non-confrontational meeting, who was ungunned. And she had to make sure nobody came in. If she saw a conflict, she would make sure that they would not get to her lieutenant, who couldn't even help himself at that point. Why are these women in combat situations if the Pentagon didn't allow it? Well, you have an MOS when you enter the military, which is a military occupational specialty. That's what you're going to do for the Army or the Navy or wherever you choose to join. But once you're in Iraq and Afghanistan, you can become attached to any unit, and you can be attached the whole time you're over there. So you're just simply attached. That's what they call it. And then women are needed. We need women to search other women. We need women to keep the children calm, to help with the social services, and mostly to gain information and check female, but they don't have any bombs or anything. This is a non-linear battlefield. So women do end up in combat situations even if they're not attached, because we don't know who's friend and foe. We don't know. The enemy isn't wearing a uniform. The technology that there is now, it's hard to say how far a bullet can go, how big a bomb can be, where they're at. So we don't know where's the safe zone, where's the green zone, where's the red zone. We don't know. So some women just end up in a combat situation out of nowhere. The United States has lived up to what it is known for, equality in giving the chance of women to be in combat. Women have been in combat since the beginning of time, but now women can be recognized in combat situations. They could also join any type of force they would want to join. So there's many more things for equality between men and women to come, but this is definitely one to be proud of.